Yeah, and we're live, baby. What's going on? Welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. You know who this is. It's the truth, Piers Austin. And I'm joined once again by the generic wrestler himself, the man with the three largest legs in professional wrestling, the original greaser, Robbie fucking Zucco. And
Yeah.
also this evening, we got the dialer promo guy, Mr. Slickback himself, Mr. Hey, these are my real teeth, Tristan Slade. Mr. Saturday Night, what's going on, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Piers. Yeah, look, I think this is going to be a ton of fun tonight. Nothing like working on the fly at last minute. It's going to be awesome.
100%, man. But that's the thing, we're dedicated to getting out some good content here, and that's why it's always good to have such good friends that are quick to jump in, come and have a chat, talk about what's going on, and have a good conversation. But man, I'm really happy to have you both on this evening. But guys, without further ado, I just do need to take a quick second to talk about our sponsor, Sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS. Sleefs is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear and wear. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes that you always hear me raving about, ladies and gentlemen. They stay dry, they stay fresh, and they've got funky designs on the front of them to keep that special person in your life giggling at the end of the day when the belt buckle comes undone. They're laughing on what's on the front of your boxes and not what's inside them. Hey, there you go. Bit of a dick joke there.
Oh, I love
it. But make sure you go and check out sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount at your final purchase. Also, wherever you're finding us, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, tick the little red buttons, and tap in because I appreciate it. It helps us bring more amazing conversations to more amazing people like yourselves. So get to tapping and tap in. And if you listen on a podcast platform, baby, give us a 5-star review because that shit helps. It helps us reach more amazing people with more amazing conversations for more amazing motherfuckers like the people listening and tuning in every single week on the Piers Austin channel. But without further ado, let's get into the show, boys. It's Shooting the Shit 301, baby. We're live. What's going on, boys? What's good? What's good? What's good?
What's going on, man? You well?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. This is a last-minute get-together, which is quite nice. Doesn't usually happen. But, you know, like we also, too, just want to wish our condolences out there to Cowboy and his family. He unfortunately couldn't make it, but just wish you all the best, buddy.
100%, man. Best of wishes goes out to Cowboy and the Cowboy family. You know, we definitely send out our best thoughts and prayers to you, man. But, man, welcome back to the show, Tristan Slade, man. It's exciting to see you, Robbie. It's always good to see you as well, man. Thank you, gentlemen, for deciding to join me on this fine Tuesday evening.
Yeah, thanks, Piers. Mate, I just want to congratulate you, Piers, because it's 301. You've done, you know, more than 300 now. So, mate, that's big congratulations. Massive effort put on by you. What, I think you're averaging something like, 3 shows a week or something?
Wow.
Yeah, something like 2 to 3 a week. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people realize the amount of effort that this kind of stuff takes. It's not just, you know, the hour or so that you do on these podcasts. It's the sorting out of everything goes around it. So I want to say big congratulations to you and a big thank you from those of us in the ring and the whole wrestling community, because what you do helping to promote wrestling, it's really great, mate. So congratulations, but also thank you very much.
No,
Exactly.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it.
Exactly what he said, but I'm going to add the reason why it works so well is because you're a big fucking mark. So
100%. You said my mic sounded funny. Do I sound okay now, or is it still a bit off?
it's not like it usually. Normally, it's like, I couldn't hear you too well. Or does it sound funny?
It sounds fine to me. If you hear a strange sound coming from me, it's my dog sleeping next to me. So
we shall continue.
We shall. I actually changed the settings on my microphone, so it actually sounds pretty good to me. So.
Okay, cool. Let's leave it at that then.
Well, that's fine. No worries.
I'm sure people let me know in the comments if it's shit. But man, no, thank you so much for the kind words. Boys, I definitely appreciate it. It is a hard work doing this, and it's like it's not easy. And it's like I had the conversation the other day with someone. It's like the amount of times I've had people message me and say, "Hey, I want to start a podcast. Can you give me some advice?" And I had someone message me today and go, "Hey, I've got a friend who wants to start a podcast. Will you, help them out and get them on the right track?" And I'm like, "All right, cool, man." And like most people, like I've had like people come to me and say, "Hey, I want to start a podcast with you. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah." And I'd always say to them, "Okay, write down a business plan, come back, give it to me, and we'll go through it and we'll go from there. Like, show me on paper what your plan is. Like, how do you plan to monetize it? How do you plan to do this, 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 and this?" And it's like the amount of people I've said that to compared to the amount of people that have actually done that, not one.
But I think that's true for. I think that's true for any business. Like even at look at the promoting side of wrestling. What is your business plan? What are you planning to do to grow that business within the wrestling scene? How do you want your shows to be? Having that written down plan and action guideline essentially makes a huge difference to how the shows come about and how good they look.
Yeah. And I think you see that with like quality promoters over like, promoters that might not necessarily care as much about the overall product or and stuff like that. And there are some out there that are like that, but I feel like a majority of it, like what we see in Australian wrestling, is there's a lot of people doing a lot of things right as far as promoting and putting on shows and good booking as well, which is one thing. Like I think you can have the production, you can have everything looking good, but if the booking isn't there, the production and everything else will only go so far.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
Well, I think just on that, I think in recent weeks, Rob and I have been very fortunate in the last fortnight or so. I think it is, Rob, to have a couple of really good bookings at a couple of really good promotions. First one, I suppose, that I'll talk about was Slam Pro Wrestling out in Canberra. I'll tell you what, that is a high standard. Very high standard. There's a huge amount of production that goes in. My congratulations goes out to the entire team that runs that, and it is a team effort out there. They do an amazing job at putting together a show that is as close to I would think that a TV program as you could get without having the contract. I think they did amazing. They branded it very well. They have an amazing use of technology in what they do, and they make good bookings. So,
Luke Burney owns Slam, doesn't he?
There's a conglomerate of those who look after it.
Right, okay.
But we were invited down by Luke. So I'll tell you what, they've got it together. They know where they're headed, and exactly as you were saying before, Piers. What's your business plan? You can see clearly they've got one.
So it's Luke, Dan, and Mikey. So they deserve the credit because obviously they put everything together.
Sure.
So those three, and they were nothing but welcoming, and it was great. We had such a good time there. As he said, the production was just fantastic, and the wrestling was good too. So it's if anyone wants to go down there, it's definitely worth a trip. That's for was like 3 hours long.
How was the crowd?
600.
Wow, that's a good crowd. Like anywhere, that's a really good crowd. And somewhere like Canberra, which is like a lot smaller than Sydney, like a Sydney show to get 600, that's a good for a Sydney show.
Yeah,
for a Canberra show, that's.
The marketing was done very well, as you said. Even afterwards or during, they've got like outside in the foyer area, they've got all the merchandise going on and whatnot. It was just really done really professional, and they put in so much effort. You know, you know when you see there's just nothing but effort put into this thing, and you can't. It was just fantastic. So, you know, credit to them. It was good, really good.
Man, that's it's good to see that there's like wrestling in places like Canberra popping up and, you know, creating that, because it's like I believe those guys also run a school, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they got a training seminar as well. So like for them as well, like you got to think, like if someone like maybe 10 years prior wanted to do pro wrestling, would they have to go to Sydney or Melbourne or something like that? They'd have to uproot their life to go and do it.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, just depending upon the path that they wish to take. Yeah. But yeah, they've started to set a very solid foundation. So yeah, that was also impressive. And the other I suppose really great show that we've been on recently, Rob, was actually just on Saturday.
Yeah.
Again, down at Rock and Roll, down in Wollongong, mate. I can't speak more highly of a crew than the crew at Rock and Roll. They're really brought together as a family.
Really good people.
And I'll tell you, the show, it was a charity show, and we raised for a family in need $10,000.
Damn, man, that's a big bag for someone in need, man. Like 10K goes a long way, man.
Yeah. So the boys a big hug afterwards, and just thank them all, because they did a wonderful job. And you know, just to give, you know, that was the thing. You know, I was speaking to my dad on the way there, because I brought him with me, and I said, we're doing a charity show tonight, and I explained the whole situation. And my dad's, you know, normally critical about, you know, getting paid, and he goes, it's a very wonderful thing you guys are doing. So it was amazing. You know what I mean? It was amazing to be part of it. And it was good to see a family get helped. They thanked us on the way out, which is probably the best thing. You know, it was really lovely. Yeah, we had a good time. Look at that.
But that's the thing, man. Like, I feel like to be able to like give back to someone like that, like was the family involved in the business in some way, or just a local to Wollongong? Or
it was a friend of, I think Luke knew him growing up, and so he's a friend of theirs. So, you know, quite a few. I think there was 250 odd that showed up, which was great. And everything, all the proceeds, you know, all Luke's effort as well. Basically, you know, what he donated was obviously all the money, all his merch money. You know, you name it, it just went straight to them. You know. That's so he you know, you technically normal promoters, that's losing money, but you know, man, he gained a lot inside, because he loves doing that. You know, he loves helping people. As you know, he's got a business where, you know, he helps people that are, you know, mentally challenged. So yeah, he loves helping people, and that shows, you know, that shows what type of person he really is. So no, you know, credit to him and everybody there. Like I said, it's like a big family. That's fantastic. Dave started what, a year ago with them as well? Or?
Yeah. Pretty much as soon as we come out of lockdown.
And he fit in like a glove. You know what I mean? He was just, you know, he could see what they're like. All good guys, all respectful guys, fun to be around. So no, it was good. Real good.
But you know what? Like, I feel like that situation, like with Hunter, like he is such a giving guy, and we're talking about like the guys from Rock and Roll, or the people from Rock and Roll, because it's like anytime I'm on a show with any of that crew, like it is always fun. It is always they're always positive, they're always happy, they're always friendly. You know what I mean? Like they're just good, genuine people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like that's, you know, in 2023, that's hard to come by in a lot of times as well, you know.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, you know, he did, you know, Hunter did, he trained these guys, not just wrestling wise, but to be respectful, especially in the business. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of these guys were genuine guys, but it was distilled early that, you know, be respectful, you know, be good to everybody, enjoy yourself, have a good time. And, you know, these guys are great. They really enjoy their shows. They really go there and they really fucking enjoy their shows. I love them. They're my family.
Do you feel like the respect thing isn't trained enough in wrestling? Like, do you feel like that's something that's rare in the business now?
Yes. But it's not that it's not trained. It's not, it's not embedded into them. You know what I mean? They get trained and they get told, okay, do this. No, it needs to be fucking drilled. It needs to be embedded into them to say, no, you have to be this way because, you know, it doesn't just help you, it helps everyone else. It's perception on how people are towards you, you know, when it comes to, you know, getting bookings, you know what I mean? You have to be respectful, you know, it's part of the business, you know what I mean? If you have heat with somebody or you have a fight or something, that's a totally different thing. That's like one person. But, you know, overall, in general, if you're respectful to everybody, you know what I mean? And you get along because that's what you're there for. It's wrestling at the end of the day. I don't give a shit what company you work for. You know, it's wrestling at the end of the day. You're promoting pro wrestling in Australia. You know, you got to be professional and you got to be respectful. So I think it's just, as I said, it's not embedded enough. So, yeah, I'm sure it's taught, but to what levels? Not the way it used to be. No, not at all.
Yeah. And well, the thing is,
I think as always, like it comes as a two-way street. You know, if people feel valued, they'll be respectful. You know, and I think that's one of the key aspects. These guys are really, and you can see it. Hunter really values them as people, not as performers, as people. Really values them, appreciates them. And they show that same kind of love back.
But you know what? Like you see that. Like I remember when we did the EWA, the cage match show, and like, you know, Hunter had, like, Luke had brought his cage up for it. There was a lot of the Wollongong boys on the show, and it was like just seeing how they were interacting with, like, I don't want to say like treating us like that's like their dad or something, but it was almost like that same effect. You know what I mean? Like that same respect when, like, you look up to your dad, sort of thing. That's the kind of thing that you see with that, right? Like, yeah.
Mutual appreciation for each other. It's massive.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a respect thing with the boys. You know, that, like I said, you know, Luke pretty much, you know, it's not just wrestling with these guys. You know, they enjoy each other's company. They have a good time. A lot of them mates outside of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they're around each other quite regularly. So they're a family. That's what he turned it into a family. And to me, that's what a wrestling business should be, a family.
Let me ask you this, right? Did you see, like, there's been a whole movement, like, as far as like wrestlers posting photos with veterans and shit like that? Like, I think you and we had this conversation the other day, Rob, right? That this Facebook account or whatever it is called the Wrestling Veteran said, hey, if you're backstage and there's a veteran there, or there's like someone who's achieved a certain level of success in the business, don't ask them for a photo because you're a fucking mark. Like, and people are getting upset about this. And like, let me ask you this: like, why would you be upset over someone who's saying something that you don't know? You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Yeah, look, I've seen this thread. I've seen this thread. Angry wrestling vet. Yep. Look, we only get, as far as we know, we only get to live one life. And I don't think, you know, the photos are there for splashing and they shouldn't be done at inappropriate times or anything like that. But at the end of the day, those are moments that we lived. You know, when you're going to the grave or the cremation, however it is you choose to go, you know, what's your achievements going to be? Like, what are people going to remember? Surely you're not going to be worried about whether you took a photo with someone or not with someone when it's time to go. You know, in a respectful way, I think we can happily do with those photos. I think times have changed.
Yeah, it's different now. It is different. I think where that guy's coming around is he doesn't want you to mark out. And once they know that you mark out, you know what I mean, they'll look at you differently and they'll treat you differently.
You're a fan. You're a fan. Yeah.
But look, you know, you can get photos. There's no doubt. I got photos with friends and vets, but this was after, you know, I was there for a length of time after, you got to know him. Like I see Jason Helton has a photo of Brett, Owen, and the Bulldog all in one photo. But the thing is, Jason trained in the dungeon and he went out to dinners with them regularly. And he went to, you know, so they became, they brought him in as like a family type of deal. So that's perfectly fine. That's a proud achievement. He wasn't marking out. He was basically saying, look, no, he was there and he was training. Where the ones that are marking out, I think what it is just people that haven't established themselves in the business and all of a sudden, you know, they're taking photos with, you know, Hulk Hogan, Dusty Rhodes. I mean, I was overseas when I first went over. Right, that made no sense. When I first went over to overseas, I had the Benoits there, the Dusties. You know, I had, you know, just all WCW wrestlers there. Never once did I take a photo with them because I was too embarrassed to do it. You know what I mean? But it's a different culture now. Everybody does it like this. You know what I mean? It's become the norm. So I don't know. Look, I don't do it. That's just me. But I don't look at somebody else and go, you know, I will stir someone from time to time, you know, just to get, you know, a rise out of them.
That's not like you.
You know,
but you know what? Like the thing is, like I feel like if someone's like, all right, say for example, like we're in Australia, so like if we have like an international come down and be on a show, like that's kind of like a big deal. There's a little bit of a buzz around it. Majority of the time, it's someone that a lot of the people in the locker room have either watched growing up or have known or have admired in some sort of form or fashion over their time of existence. If they're at a show with this person, could they go up and say, hey, do you mind if we get a photo? Would that be cool? And would that be looked upon as a mark, or would that be like, oh, that's just someone going up and saying, hey, man, can we get a photo real quick? Done.
For me, it depends upon time, situation. You know, you got to pick your times if you're going to get a photo. It's like a photo doing anything. You might see, you know, like at the end of the day, we are working with them on the show,
100%.
right? And I suppose if the booker says, hey, look, if anyone wants a photo, let's do it now. Let's get it out of the way, you know, and, you know, promoters could help in that sense. Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Get it done. Again, I come back to, you know, it's life. It's short. These are things that you've been a part of that, you know, you'd want somebody to go, oh, you know, that was their life, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, at the end of the day, it's just a photo. Provided we're not taking up masses of people's time.
Well, because that was the thing. I remember, like, when was it? I think it was either the beginning of this year or it was like sometime, it might have been sometime last year. So Luke Hawks, you know, who wrestles for NWA, he was on Young Rock. He was coming to Australia to film Young Rock. And he knew, like, when I was doing the podcast network, I knew a lot of the guys that were a part of the network were good friends with Luke. So they're telling me, they're saying, hey, he's going to be in Australia. Why don't you guys go hang out, have something to eat? So this is a guy I've watched seen his career for the past 20 years, and wow, this, you know what I mean? This is a guy I've seen on television, whatever, and I'm going to hang out with him. I didn't ask for a photo because it was like, I don't want him to go, oh, look at this guy, he's a fucking mark. And the people that have sent me there to hang out with him are all, wrestling veterans that have been in the business for like 15, 20, 30 years. It's like, that I thought that would embarrass them if I'm like, hey, can I get a photo with, like?
I agree. I agree with that too. If I had ever had dinner, and I have, with people like that, I'd be too embarrassed to ask for like a photo, and I'd be too embarrassed to really talk about a lot of wrestling. You know what I mean? Because I'm there going, I actually want to know what you do, like, or what your interests are. What hobbies do you have? You know what I mean? Once you start talking like that to somebody that's actually made it and been there, done it, you know what I mean? You start to go, hang on a sec, you can relate to them. You know what I mean? You can understand.
And that's what I got to do with Luke, because when he was there, like we're hanging out, we're eating, we're chilling, and he was like telling me, he's like, oh yeah, look, I'm actually going to be playing Stone Cold in Young Rock. He goes, but you can't tell anyone, like, until it's aired. Like, he goes, I'm just telling someone I'm doing a movie thing. But this dude works as a stuntman as well, like made a career outside of wrestling. But it's like, very cool dude. But it's like, holy shit! It's like having the conversation with him. It's like, wrestling wasn't even part of the conversation for the most part,
I think also too, if we're going back to consequences of the reason why people take photos, you don't want to look like a mark, but you might have to work with them one day. And there's been wrestlers out there, workers that bring a superstar in, and they have matches with them, right? But they have what you call like a mark match. So they're marking out the whole time. They're nervous the whole time. They're not looking at them like they're a wrestler. They're looking at them like they're a fucking superstar, and they shit the bed. You know what I mean? And they're the people. They're the ones that actually take photos of them together being marks. We know certain workers have booked themselves against superstars, and they haven't performed well. You know what I mean? That's happened. That's been happening for years. And there's ones that you can tell they're not the marks, and they go out there and they have a fucking great match. And the reason why is because they looked at them as a man or a female. They didn't look at it. They didn't look at it as like, oh, that's a superstar. They just said, no, I'm human. We both got a job to do. Let's go fucking do it. It becomes a mentality thing. So that's where those consequences come with those type of photos. So that's where the angry vet is coming from. You know what I mean? So there's more deeper issues than just taking a photo. I know it's the new norm, but it's basically it leads to more things. So you just becoming a mark, you're becoming a fanboy, but then you got to work with these guys and you shit the bed. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that you're too much of a fanboy, and that they don't want that in the business. You know what I mean? So that's where I think that type of stuff comes from.
Have you seen people that have just like that you've met in the business that you've just gone, wow, this person's just like should be a fan?
Yep.
Yeah. I think we've all come across them. I don't think you have to go far.
Yep. Fucking heaps. And you all know who the fuck they are. Don't fucking lie. You all
right.
Hey. Rob's like telling the audience and everyone, hey, we all.
You all know who the fuck they are. It's true. That's where that comes from. Like I said, everything's all like layers. Or there's always deeper issues to something, or the reason why that guy would post something like that is because, like I said, they go from a fanboy, then they actually got to work with them, and then they shit the bed, then they get a bad reputation and nobody wants to work with them. And, people will remember that person, for their bad reputation,
It's like, have you seen the guy who does like the videos called the Vet Jack Vaughn? Like, he actually does some really funny shit. Like,
Jack Vaughn. Yeah, I've seen it. It's very good. But like, he's a big guy. I think he's something like 6'4", about 240 pounds. He's a big unit, and but I'll tell you what, some of his videos very on point, very almost there, Rob.
Lost it.
It's just I actually really enjoy his stuff. You know, like it does highlight, and this was highlighted to me very early on in my career. I'll say career, but you know, it's all fun. There's wrestling, and then there's professional wrestling. Professional is the way you walk into the room, the way that you are with people, and that line of professional is what makes all the difference. And I think that's where we're getting a lot of these guys like AWV, the Angry Wrestling Vet, Jack Vaughan, you know, having a comical way of approaching these issues. It's about getting the level of professional up. Now, the game has changed in terms of what the audience expects to see.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the level of professionalism has kept up, you know, as a whole. There are some things that are, and we spoke about these earlier when we talk about slam, rock and roll, you know, and quite a few of these elite where the professionalism and the people who go and do this and you know, that kind of level of professionalism is there, you can see it.
Yeah. Well, over time, the unwritten rules have been thrown out the window. You know what I mean? There was unwritten rules that you learn as you go, and it's just changed. You know what I mean? It's just
when did the game change though? Like when did it all go completely different?
90s. 90s. Roughly.
So even like before you were in the business. Oh wait, you got in the late 70s, right?
Yeah, 73. I'm jumping on trampolines with a weight now. You know what I mean?
Can you do any tricks?
Yeah, I can.
To me that will be the thing is bringing up a level of professionalism would make all the difference. I feel.
I mean, like, do you feel like there's professionalism lacking massively? Because we spoke about this in episode 300, and I think Rob, you said like from a professionalism standpoint. 1 second. From a professionalism standpoint, you said it was about 60% professional and about 80% professional, 20% unprofessional.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that percentage?
I don't know if percentage is really the key factor. I think the key factor is understanding that you're there to present yourself in the best possible way, both in the ring and out of the ring. To the promoter, to the promotion itself, to the workers around you and the fans, and particularly if you're going into clubs. The club stuff, you know, you can't have this great, wonderful show or whatnot, and then afterwards, as you're loading out of the club, everybody's, you know, swearing, carrying on, things like that. You know, it can't just. It's got to be the entire time that you're there. You have to have it in your makeup to bring it forward naturally.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and like you feel like with some like. You know, and look, you see unprofessionalism everywhere, and I feel like in the wrestling scene, like it's no different to anywhere else that you see it in life. And it's, you know, you see it in your day to day, but you know, you see in the wrestling that the people that do take it serious and the people that like that really are professional, they stand out, as well as the people that are the extreme that don't, you know what I mean? Like, but the ones that are extremely professional, there's the ones that stand out. I think you've even said before, Rob, it's like they're the ones that actually make it because they actually understand it.
100%. It's a mindset, you know what I mean? Everything becomes a mindset. You know, the ones that have actually made it, it's because they had a strong mindset and they really wanted to do it. You know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of people, you know, inspired to be wrestlers. But you know, it's one of those things. Unless you got that, you know, you'll freaking go out of your way to sacrifice everything
for your dream, that's the quality you need to have, even if you don't achieve it. You know what I mean? It's just like with anything, you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they think they believe in themselves, but they really don't have that X factor that you need. But you got to remember, not everybody makes it with anything. You know what I mean? But you can still be like professional. You know what I mean? But there's certain levels you can get to.
You professional at entry level, I'll tell you what, get you noticed at entry level very easily. Doesn't mean
I could train 10 people, 10 different people, and I guarantee you they won't be all the same at the end of the the camp. You know what I mean? They'll train them exact same way, do exact same drills, and this person will be up here and this person will still be struggling down here. And that's just life, unless I push them, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, it's the ones that need to push, and there's ones that sort of that just don't have that drive to want to do it. They don't want to, and it might be that certain people just don't want to take it professionally or treat it professionally because they don't see it as something as professional. Maybe they're just weekend warriors that just go, you know what, this is just a bit of fun I do on the weekend.
Yeah. It's all good and well to do all that, and there's nothing wrong. But the problem you have is, you can't just step into the ring without having proper training. And these people, if they actually had proper training, you know what I mean, they would get booked in a credible promotion. Oh, sorry, if they didn't, with the training that they've got, they wouldn't be booked in a credible promotion. If you wanted to go, into a really good promotion, you need to be trained really well. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that if you don't learn the fundamentals from day one, you're really going to struggle throughout this business, and you're going to be always on the defensive. And I noticed everybody that either shit the bed, or they're drizzling shits, and they've always got excuses, for what happened where when Dave and I are talking after a match, shit, fuck, I wish I did that, or fuck, I wish I did that, or you know what I mean? We're blaming ourselves because we're the type of guys that go, hang on a sec, we were part of the match, we need to try and fix this type of deal. So most guys won't do that if they're not trained properly. You know what I mean? If you're properly trained as a professional, then you'll try and do whatever you can to get yourself better. And
do you feel like most people in that situation, Rob, would be more along the lines of like trying to pass the buck of like the blame? Oh, though that's not my fault. That was their fault. That's I did nothing wrong. They fucked up. Is that the more of the mindset?
Yeah, 100%. Look, and you can see we're obvious on like who messes up like during a match. Sometimes when you're both, fumbling around each other, you know what I mean? That person will go, oh fuck, you did this. If there's a fuck up or something like that, technically you're supposed to take the blame. You're on the match, you know what I mean? No matter what. So yeah.
But this is a life skill. This is a life skill, like whenever you want to get better at anything, your job, golf, you need to recognize where you've come off the rails and make an adjustment.
Yeah.
Now, the only time you can recognize when you've come off the rails is if you're actually skilled enough to recognize that you came off the rails. But as I said, that could be in anything. You could be doing a course, maybe a component of that course you failed. Right? Do you sit there and blame the teacher, or do you sit there and go, do you know what? I could have done X, Y, Z and gotten a better result.
Yeah.
I could have put in an extra 10 hours into that assignment and passed it. I could have, if I wanted to go for a promotion at work, rather than moping about how everybody else gets a promotion, if I had shown that I was the most capable, the most skilled, doesn't mean you'll get the job, right? But if you put everything forward as best you can, right, that's being a professional.
And you're putting yourself in the best situation for success in that case, right?
Correct.
But like, I feel like we live in a society now, and this is just a society in general, where it's like people just feel entitled for shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And when they don't get it, it's like, instead of like reflecting, going, okay, you know, how do I get this? You know what I mean? Like, dude, like I've had situations that have happened, you know, with commentary that shows I've missed out on being on or whatever. And I've gone like, you know what I mean? Like, shit, I walk away from it. And like, I don't sit there and go, fuck, man, like they didn't use me. That's so bullshit. It's bullshit. They didn't have me on this, blah, blah, blah. Or for whatever reason, I just go back and go, okay, cool. I need to get that my face in front of them. They need to see what I'm about and see that I'm value. They didn't see value in me tonight, or they didn't see value in bringing me in to do this. Okay, I'm going to prove that I am valuable. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to work harder and harder and harder. But the thing is, like, people have a different mindset. I think the younger generation have a different mindset, where it's easier just to go, oh, this is bullshit. Fuck this. Oh, fuck. Oh, mate, poor me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I think a lot of that, like I've been having a look at a few things recently, just online and whatnot, like all of it. And we can have a look at like gaming. Gaming, for example, gives a reward to somebody for everything they do, whether it was good or bad or what. They're rewarded in some way in the game. Pokies, no different. Reward. That's what makes people go back. There's a psychology behind it. When we get let down and we don't get that instant feedback, that instant good feedback, we tend to turn away because we don't have the resilience to keep going. And that's probably what's missing. It's not a case of these people just aren't any good. It's they haven't learnt resilience, which is, you know, and there's nothing wrong. Like, Piers, when you said, you know, they didn't see value in me, you know, and you get a little bit down on yourself after the event that you didn't get something. There's nothing wrong with that feeling. That is very human. It's the question of, do I have the resilience to stand up again when I wasn't selected? You know,
and that's kind of what I was like meaning behind it, is like, you know, I didn't go, oh shit, like play a victim or, you know, and cry myself to sleep. I was like, all right, well, fuck, wasn't my night, you know what I mean? Wasn't my opportunity. So right.
So the question is, how do we teach these people resilience when they're rewarded for every tiny little effort of different things these days? I don't think half of it's their fault. Well, I think a lot of it.
Maybe they just haven't been faced with any fucking hard fucking, you know what I mean?
Where there's no choice but to be resilient. You'll only get stronger of resilience as you come across and have to rise up to the occasion. That's where people build resilience.
Because that's the thing. Maybe they've just been handed everything in life. They're just like, okay, here we go on the.
Yeah. So,
you know, as you said the other week, Rob, what is it? Cupcake Society.
That's my life, and I'm sticking with that. You know what I mean?
It is, but again, you know, like, you know, how would you build resilience? You got some guys that, let's say you got them in training and they can't quite get a bump, and they just want to throw it away and not try again and this and that. How do you build resilience? You build resilience through failing and trying and failing and trying and failing and trying. And that's the path to success of it.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again. Do it again. You'll get it eventually. You get it eventually.
Pushing forward.
I can't do it. Do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just constantly do that. No,
and that's how resilience is built. You know, so.
But I feel like people have to be motivated for that shit. Like, there's got to be a reason to keep doing it. There's got to be a reason to keep, you know. And it's like, to be successful in anything, like, I think the people who are the most successful, that they treat it like an obsession. You know what I mean? And that might not be a healthy thing, so to speak, but it's like they're just like so dedicated to it. You know what I mean? Or they're so dedicated to what they have in their mind of what they need to do. There's like, they're going to keep just put in this countless amount of effort into this one thing until they've achieved it.
Yeah, they thrive in the grind. Yeah. Love it, don't you, Rob?
What is that noise?
That is my dog snoring.
Fuck me. I've been going, what the fuck is that noise? I go,
I thought Dave was just letting him rip. He's had like
someone's farting there and nobody's smiling. So I'm there going, who is it?
I've got a pug. So as you guys know, with pugs, they don't breathe very well. So he just snores all night.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So do I, man. To be honest, my wife let me sleep between me and the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I see your point where you come from, Pierce, in regards to, you want to go there and you want to do your best and whatnot. I have a scenario where I quit the wrestling business, for a couple of years. You know what I mean? I felt that I had main event matches and whatnot, and when I came back, I could. It was a struggle for me to get booked again. You know what I mean?
Really?
It was a real struggle. I couldn't get booked. I couldn't get matches. I went to Hunter. He gave me, some matches, but it took me years to actually get from like just doing regular matches, doing nothing with me, to people putting me back into certain spots. Like it's almost I had to restart again, And then, when I met Dave, you know what I mean? It boosted us even more, because we were both like at the the board end of the actual careers, where we weren't doing anything. Now we're having a good time again. You know what I mean? Where we're starting to enjoy our promos, and you got to constantly change and get with the times, and you have to always be in everybody's face. So the more people see you, and also too, you start having good matches. The moment you start having good matches again, you know what I mean, is the moment they start going, oh shit, we're going to start booking for this and this and this and this. But for years, now I'm talking about for when I stopped, a good 4 years, nothing. I was getting, I was just jobbing out, curtain jerking. It was getting nothing. So it was just years until I actually started doing stuff. I seriously, I was doing the whole Rob Matrix thing. It was just gotten stale. I had to comb my hair and dress up like a dickhead, to get noticed again. It's true. I put a cigarette in my mouth, and I went to a fancy dress and slicked my hair back, and my hair tied up, and I was like, fuck, I look like a real 50s fuckwit. And it was the attention that you get is like, oh wow, like, and they're going, and I showed Luke one time. I said, can I do this character, please? I don't want to do this fucking Rob Matrix shit anymore. He goes, yeah, he was sold when he saw the picture. I showed him a picture of me at the fancy dress. He goes, yeah, I can do that. And then boom, it was so much easier. And then it made it even better when Dave, jumped on board, because he was already Mr. Saturday Night. So he had it was meant to be white all over, wasn't it? Or white jacket.
Yeah, white suit. And
it started out white.
My point is, you need to build resilience, and you need to keep on trying. You know what I mean? Now it's cool. Now it's great. Now I've got people wanting to work with me again. It got to a stage where I'm going, fuck, doesn't anybody want to work with me? Did I do something wrong? Did I have a bad attitude? It wasn't that. It's like I wasn't there anymore. You know what I mean? So I had to restart again. So you always have to restart with everything. I think, who was it? You heard this term before, it's what you're worth. A bottle of water, costs, $2 in a service station, $4 in a cinema, $8 in a bar or whatever it is, and $12 in a hotel. So it just depends on your audience, you know what I mean, what you're worth, type of deal. So yeah, I think that's something that I hated that time. I really did. And it was Dave. We met up at the right time, because we were like at wit's end. We don't want to fucking be around this business, because it's just like it's not doing anything for us, and we're not enjoying ourselves. And when we got together, we just started having a good time. We said, fuck it, let's just go have a good time tonight. You know what I mean? And we did.
And you know what, that came through in the presentation of what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something people need to be well aware of. They need to have a good time doing what they're doing. You'll enjoy it. People around you will notice. You don't need to walk up to them and say, mate, I'm having a really good time. They'll just see it. Like it just comes out of you that you're having a good time. The audience sees it, the promoter sees it, the boys, they all enjoy it, and it makes you fun to be around.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is as well, like being on shows with you guys is like, it is always like a fun time. Like no matter what is going on, like what fuck up is going on, you guys always sort of like hold court almost and just like make sure that everyone's having a good time. There's always like jokes, there's always laugh around. The shit gets done, the show gets done, but it's always like before and after the show is always a good time hanging with you two guys.
Yeah.
I think everyone would agree.
Well, I remember going to TCW one time, and that was Dusty's Fed back in Atlanta. And I was just going in. I was about to have my first match and stuff like that. And the whole fucking locker room was quiet. And, you know, you had Dusty stand up, and he goes, "Fuck, you all a bunch of boring fucking assholes. Get the fuck up, enjoy yourselves here. Fucking hell, it's like a morgue. At a wrestling show, enjoy, you know what I mean? Like this is stuff that was said like that when like this. I was like, going, shit, yeah, you know what? It's fucking boring in here. Why? You know, in backstage, I'm always good for a laugh, always good for a chat. You know, and when you can get everybody's energy to be happy and whatnot, they'll perform better. You know what I mean? I've seen some stressful environments where, yeah, okay, they'll go out, then they'll do the job because, yeah, they're nervous. But did they perform at the best of their ability? I don't think they did. You know what I mean? I believe that they need that confidence. They need to be happy, and they need to be, you know, encouraged when they go out there. You know, so
yeah,
you need a good vibe, but you know, you really do.
But for all the young guys out there, you'll still be nervous, but that's good energy.
But at least you'll be happy.
Yeah,
I'm too old to get nervous. You know, so.
Yeah. The body just doesn't react anymore. You know.
You don't get nervous before a show?
Me or Dave?
Neither.
No.
I actually get a little bit sleepy. It's a very like even Rob hits me up backstage. He goes, "You all right?" Yeah, I'm just tired. I'll be right when it comes time for the show. Yeah, that's me. He goes, "You right?" I'm just sitting down, chilling, doing nothing.
No, I'm not. God, no. Nervous is not, because if you've learnt your fundamentals, you really shouldn't get nervous. You know what I mean? The only thing you should be worried about is just, you know, not fucking up, but not in a nervous way. I just don't fuck up. But when you stop,
you should be excited.
Yeah,
excited. You know what I mean? Because you're out there, you're passionate. You know what I mean? I've never felt so comfortable in the ring. You know, that's the most comfortable place to me in life because it's so easy. You know what I mean? It's so much fun. That's the way wrestling should be for everybody, or the way I think it should be for everyone. You should go out there, should be easy, should be fun. Doesn't mean you don't go out there and work hard. You go out there and work as hard as you can. But it shouldn't be fucking that difficult. Like, you know, the Cirque du Soleil people, they go out night after night and they're doing all these flippity flops and whatnot. And they're doing it, you know, because they really enjoy the thing. You know, they love it. That's the way wrestling should be. There's people that fall in love with the actual wrestling aspect and not the whole business. And there's people that just fall in love with just being a superstar. And they're the ones that shit the bed. You know what I mean? They're the ones that get nervous. And, you know, they're the ones, you know, once they learn their art and they get really into it, I don't ever see you not, you know, enjoying yourself out there. If you know what the fuck you're doing, I've seen guys that are, you know, trained specifically, and man, they tear it up out there, and they're just weapons out there. They just don't have any nervousness or anything. You know what I mean? It's I don't believe that you get nervous if you know what you're doing out there. If you don't know what you're doing, yeah, I understand you get nervous. You know, that's I don't know. That's just I get nervous. I don't know why. I just never really. I guess I enjoyed it too much to get nervous, if that makes sense.
But even like when you were starting, you never got like the butterflies in the stomach or anything like that.
When I was starving?
No, when you were starting.
When I was starting, no. I had some really, really good training. You know what I mean? When I started, I had Mark Mercedes train me, and for the first 3 months, he drilled me with things to do. And my first match was against like Billy Cole, and he was pretty established. He was really good. I was not nervous because he was going to carry me, and he wanted me to do certain things, and he goes, as long as it was done. It was just, eager. It wasn't nervous. It was just eager, to get out there and to try. You go, your timing's a little bit off. You know what I mean? Because you're new, so it was just
you're rushing. Yeah,
you're rushing. But I never had that thing where I wanted to get the fuck out of there. Because I'm nervous. People go after the match, oh, I'm glad that's over. I go, really? I'm glad it's fucking, not on.
I want to go. I want to do another 20 minutes.
I go back. There's times where I crack the shits because I'm out there and they're going, shit, we got to take it home. You know what I mean? We've got the message to take it home. I don't want to. You know what I mean? You want to stay out there. Because it's almost like a workout too. I love it. I never really. A lot of wrestlers feel the same way too. You know what I mean? The ones that really are passionate about this.
You mentioned Billy Cole, man. Like you were talking about him the other week, and dude, how good would it have been if he was able to be in this sort of environment in 2023? Because like back then in early 2000s, that was a guy who was like an amazing worker.
Yeah, because he could do everything you can think of. You know what I mean? He could do all the basics right. He can fly. He had obviously the moonsaults, flying leg drops from the top rope. He did all that kind of stuff. He was really good, and he was 6'2", big dude, solid dude, good looking dude. He would tear it up. In this day and age, it's just we didn't have the. We didn't have the social media or the platform or whatever to actually.
Because he never went overseas or anything, did he?
He trained at the Hart School, I believe. He went to Japan with Mark Mercedes. They did some Japan. Wow. Yeah. So that was very early in the piece, 99, 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think they dressed him up as Jesus because he had like long hair and thing and robe on him. They go, Jesus. So he had to come up as Jesus type of deal. So
that's crazy, man. Like how would you feel like with your character, like even the greasers? I'll ask both of you guys, like, because the Japanese style of wrestling is like not really like you look at New Japan, for example, isn't very heavily like gimmick based. How do you think do you think that's more of Japan as a society, or is that just more of like New Japan? Like, because I have seen some pretty heavy gimmicky stuff over in Japan, but how do you think like a greaser gimmick would go over in Japan?
I think personally we just have to just slightly change a few things. Obviously, make it more reality-based character. So just it has to be not as cartoony, more grungy, a bit more. And obviously we have to, go out there and just, hit hard, I guess, and, really just get used to the Japan style. You know what I mean? We have to we have to evolve, so that's the only thing I can think of. But it will just be different. Yeah.
I've seen both sides of Japan, and the people just really like to be entertained. I went over to Japan when I was a child. Stayed there for about a month or so, and so just the culture is very, very respectful. So if you're producing something that is of good quality and entertainment, they're going to go for it. They like I've seen some weird Japanese wrestling stuff, like pig masks and all kinds of stuff, and then you see the more hard hitting styles out of Japan as well. Like, so they're certainly up for gimmicky stuff as well. Yeah, but do you know what? I mean, even here in Australia, we have to match the styles for the audience that we're in front of.
Yeah.
If we're in front of a full adult crowd, we can't be doing super kiddie stuff.
Mm.
But if we're, you know, and it means we can go up a notch a little bit about, you know, where our hands can go, certain different moves, if you get my drift. You know, like, so you always have to do it anyway. You always have to evolve, look at your audience, pay attention. What works for that audience, what doesn't. It's no different to a comedian. You know, comedians be going out and thinking, okay, what does this audience, what do they enjoy? They'd be pointless going over to England telling jokes about Kiwis.
Yeah.
You know, you got to know your audience. And that I think that's the job of the entertainer. And let's be honest, we're in the entertainment business. Our job is to recognize what our audience likes, dislikes, and work with it.
Yeah, it's just like asking, you know, you saw the Hulk when he wrestled in Japan. You know what I mean? He had to alter his changing style. You know what I mean? He had to, hey, how are you, buddy? He had to alter his style. He had to, you know, be more mat-based wrestler. You know what I mean? A little bit less gimmicky. You know what I mean? He wasn't quite as, you know, but he was still great. You know what I mean? When he was there. So you're just changing your, you know, you're wrestling a lot more mat wrestling, more, you know, more shoot style looking wrestling.
Yeah.
It's
more like you're looking like you're trying to kill the fucking person that you're wrestling against.
Yeah. So
because I've seen that clip of Hulk over in Japan, man, and I was just like, damn, like that's some pretty crazy shit. Because like for years everyone's saying, oh, Hulk could only do like 2 or 3 things. No, that's all he needed to do. That's all he fucking needed to do, bro. He didn't need to do anything else.
When he started, exactly. When he started drawing the most money was when he started to realize I don't have to do all this shit. You know what I mean? And he had people educate him on that too as he went, you know, through the ranks. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't see myself going to New Japan or Dave. Do you want to go to New Japan?
I go to Japan to visit my mate over there. That'll be great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dial in a really cheap promotion for my wife right now. Flame is going to be wrestling this weekend against Kobe Starr at AWF.
Wow.
Championship. So I think that's going to be an absolute corker of a match between those two. Both quite athletic women. I think that's going to be a really top match. So if you are in the Katoomba area, Blue Mountains, head on out and to AWF and watch those two go at it. I think they're going to have an absolute cracker of a match.
Nice.
Where are you guys at next? Mr. Southie wants to know. What about, we'll go with you, Dave. Where are you appearing next?
The next one that I'm doing, I'm actually tagging with Flame up at NCPW at Port Macquarie. We're currently the tag champs up there. And I believe the one after that would be me. I'm tagging with Rob at Rock and Roll on May 27th.
Yep. Rock and Roll, May 27th. And yes, that's it for now. You know,
what have I got? I have the 29th. I am going to be at FWA at the Rumble with Vinny Vane. So make sure you can check that out. It's going to be at 5 Doc, or you can check it out on Fight TV. I am also going to be calling Eduardo MMA fights in July. So make sure to look out for that one. And a couple of boxing and Muay Thai cards coming up as well. So, and a few other wrestling shows as well in the next few months. So stay tuned to my socials.
Yeah, stay tuned to our socials too, because I'll tell you what, we're no shame in self promotion. Rob and I love to chuck our promos together, chuck it out there. So yeah, if you guys keep an eye on our socials, you'll certainly find out where we're on next.
100%. But guys, before we wrap it up and take it on home, where can everyone find you guys on social media?
Rob, you're up.
You can't.
Don't worry about it.
And what about you, Tristan? Where can everyone find you on social media?
Okay, so hit me up on Facebook, Tristan Slade Original Greases. Rob, I believe we actually have a TikTok. Original Greases, I think it is on TikTok. If you look it up. There's also Tristan Slade 2022 on Twitter. Yeah, I think that's my ones.
Have you got MySpace as well, or is that no? That's not one.
Back in the day, man. Come on, I've probably still got my login details somewhere.
That's
what about my 9 MSN account?
Dude, the Broadcast Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. But we're going to wrap it up. We're going to head it home. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again for Tristan Slade and Robbie Zucco for having this last-minute podcast. We decided to make it all happen for you guys because that's what we do. And it's always good to have friends that are willing to jump on at last minute and have a chat. But take it on home, boys. We'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. All the best. Peace.